a special one-fall, 30-minute time limit Southern Heavyweight Championship match upcoming momentarily between Mr. B, Brian Blair, and Ravishing Rick Rude. With me is Buddy Colt, of course, who'll be lending his commentary, and also Mike Graham, who has a very special interest in this match. And Buddy, a lot of exciting things are upcoming throughout the entire state of Florida.
Yes, there really is. One of the big matches is tonight in Lakeland. There will be a special Texas Tornado match with Mike Graham and Blackjack Mulligan going up against the team of the fabulous Freebird. I would also like to remind the people that this vendetta with Ric Flair, the world's champion, he has against Chief Wahoo McDaniel, where he has offered a $10,000 bounty against any wrestler that can put Chief Wahoo McDaniel out of wrestling. And, of course, his reasoning for this is Ric Flair feels that Chief Wahoo is a dangerous threat to his title. And I'll tell you, one of the most dangerous and deadly men in wrestling, Abdullah the Butcher, will be here next week to try and collect that $10,000.
There you see him on the screen now, Abdullah the Butcher, and he is a total mercenary. Mike Graham, of course, as I said, is with us. He has a very special interest in this match upcoming right now. But, you know, Mike, it's interesting to note, I got a wire from Ric Flair, the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. Beginning May 6th, he will have a championship tour through Florida. Kerry Von Erich has sent in his contract. I know you have your contract in. Wahoo McDaniel has his in. And by the way, tickets will go on sale April 22nd. April 22nd in your locale for the championship tour. But I know that you're looking forward to that.
No, you're exactly right. I can't wait to get a chance at Ric Flair. And but right now we've got a match in the ring that is very important. That I'm wanting to wrestle because in the past the Southern title has been the stepping stone to the world's title. And whoever comes out this match the winner, then I'm going to go after him.
Well, I can certainly understand that. Let's go to the ring right now for this special one-fall, 30-minute time limit Southern Heavyweight Championship match.
This special challenge match is one fall with a 30-minute time limit for the Southern Heavyweight title. Introducing the challenger to my right, from Tampa, Florida, weighing in at 235 pounds, the very popular Mr. B. Brian Blair. And his opponent to my left, from Beverly Hills, California, accompanied by Percival Pringle III, weighing in at 235 pounds, the Ravishing One, the Southern Heavyweight Champion, Ravishing Rick Rude. One fall with a 30-minute time limit for the Southern Heavyweight title.
One fall, 30-minute time limit now. Ravishing Rick Rude defending the Southern Heavyweight Championship against Mr. B. Brian Blair. Mike, of course, Rude and Blair have battled throughout the entire state of Florida, and Rude has seemingly gotten the edge through one way or another, and more particularly with the help or behest of one Percy Pringle. Percy Pringle, and a somewhat concerned Percy Pringle, but it is Rude looking very good at the onset here. Inside cradle doubles up on Rick Rude, but the drop goal a bit early, Mike, I think. Reverse Nelson on the head of Rick Rude, trying to get him over into that pinning combination. And a near fall, a count of 2 by referee Bill Alfonso. And I have a hunch, Buddy, that Alfonso's going to have his hands full.
Well, he really will. You know, right here I feel that Brian Blair has a little bit of scientific wrestling knowledge and skill over Rick Rude. Rick Rude has a lot of power in those arms and upper body of his. So I feel these two competitors are basically pretty even. But if I have to give one man the edge, I would have to give that edge to Rick Rude for the mere fact that he has his manager, Percival Pringle, at ringside. And from past experience, when you have that extra man at ringside, it's kind of an intimidating effect. You have to keep an eye on your opponent and the manager because you never know what happens with that manager. And there's Percival Pringle. You never know. You have to keep an eye on him at all times. So I really give Rick Rude a slight edge in this match.
An interesting observation by Buddy Colt. We saw Sir Percy Pringle moving around the ring. And I might point out that in the event we do have to cut away during this match for a commercial message, that our crew, of course, will continue to videotape, and should a pinfall or a submission occur, we will bring that to you should it occur while we have cut away. So you're not going to miss any of the real some quick the crowd picking up a chant here, "Go Brian, go." And they're solidly in favor of one Mr. B, Brian Blair. A variation of the deathlock there, hooking that hollow of the knee over the ankle. And Mr. Rude has got himself some problems. And Mike, it appears to me, you mentioned at the very beginning of this match, that the Mr. B, Brian Blair, is going to have to concentrate on the legs, and that's exactly what he's been doing.
He's staying after it, and he's making Rick Rude carry his weight. That's very important, too, because right now, with those TV lights on, it's probably over 90 degrees in that ring with poor circulation. The man that can stay in there the longest is going to be the man that's going to win. With a 30-minute time limit under those kind of circumstances, conditioning and making your opponent carry your weight is critical and very important.
And so stamina is indeed a factor here.
Nice reversal here by Rick Rude. Brian got a little overextended. Rude shifted his weight and has now come up on top of Brian. Brian, of course, having him in a tight cradle, is in a very dangerous situation if he can't get his hands loose and turn back to his stomach.
It was Rude driving a knee into the side of the rib cage and then suddenly into the chest once again of Mr. B, Brian Blair. Rude has him up a full body slam on Mr. B, but Rude is showing the effect of the punishment he's taken on that leg, and now misses with an elbow, and Mr. B is single leg pickup once again, and again, ravishing Rick Rude, feeling a lot of pain in that left leg.
Well, Brian Blair, of course, seeing that, or feeling that one of the weak parts of Rick Rude is his leg, has been really working on that leg, trying to injure the leg, keep it out of commission as much as possible. And he, of course, being a very smart wrestler, constantly goes back to that leg.
Well, apparently we're going to have to cut away for a commercial at this time. We're going to be cutting away for a commercial. Should a pinfall or a submission hold occur while we're gone, we'll bring it back to you on instant replay. Wait a minute. No, sir, didn't get the pin. We'll be back. We'll be back in just a moment. There you see Percy Pringle admonishing and issuing advice to ravishing Rick Rude. Neither man able to score a pinfall or a submission hold while we were away. But the match has continued, and I would say at this point, Mike, that if you are going to go on the point system, that Mr. B, Brian Blair, would be out front.
Oh, definitely you are, but this isn't an amateur match. I understand what you're saying, but even in the pro ranks, Brian Blair is definitely ahead. He's got his man hurt. He's got a weak point established. He's been in good control. He's showing good ring style and ability.
Rick Rude outside the ring and limping rather badly on that left leg. That left leg is really giving him a hard time now. And Pringle trying to administer some quick first aid, checking that ankle very carefully. The count is on by referee Del Alfonso, and we could have a title change here just on the basis of being outside the ring. He's back in just in time. But Rude now apparently is...
now backing away, trying to steal some time, trying to let that leg regroup, trying to get himself together. So far, he's been totally controlled. He's not had the chance to make any offensive or aggressive moves. Brian has been very, very aggressive, staying on top of him. We'll see now he's had a half a minute or so breather, if that's going to make any difference. But again, Brian aggressively going after that leg, into a headlock with into a hammerlock, and then with a drop toe hold on the leg. He's working on that leg.
He has been concentrating on that one point, and Rick Rude is steadily being worn down. And Percy Pringle watching, and again the crowd picks up the chant, "Go Brian, go." And Buddy, as a former competitor, I know what that roar of the crowd can do for you.
Well, it really gets your adrenaline up, Gordon. You always like having the crowd with you. Just feeling the crowd cheering you on to victory is just such a tremendous help. Right now, Brian feels he can almost sense the picture. Right there, he stays on that left leg. Notice he crunches his next clean leg, just knocking them pins out from under Rick Rude. Rick Rude in a lot of trouble. Brian Blair being very cautious there, being aggressive yet cautious, not being overly foolish on any move at all. Knowing the Southern Heavyweight Championship title is on the line here, a lot of prestige, and mainly in professional wrestling, there's a lot of money goes along with that title. See, well, there he goes down for another drop toe hold. Oh, he's coming with an inside leg pick up, double leg pick up, and down goes Rick Rude right back to that left leg again.
And so it is for all the marbles. The Southern Heavyweight Championship on the line. In the event you have just tuned in, this is Mr. P, Brian Blair, the challenger, ravishing Rick Rude in the pinkish orange trunks, the Southern Heavyweight Champion, defending his title against Mr. B, Brian Blair. One fall, a 30-minute time limit. And right now, Mr. B, Brian Blair, looking exceptionally good. He has been punishing the left leg, and more particularly the femoris muscles of that left leg. Now with a toe hold on Rick Rude. And Mike Rude has had a problem walking. He's got to have even more troubles if he gets out of this.
You know, the longer he remains being controlled, the harder it's going to be to try to come back. His leg is definitely injured. It's taken longer and longer now for it to recover. If he doesn't make his move, if he doesn't get it in gear pretty quick and get Brian stopped and in some type of control, I don't see him coming out of this match the winner.
Interesting observation from Mike Graham. Mike, of course, who has held national and international titles as well, is watching this with a great deal of interest. Of course, it is now. Blair going for a full Boston Crab, and he's got those legs already weakened. And this could be all she wrote for the Southern Heavyweight Champion, Rick Rude. Rude now, a tremendous little second effort here.
There's that upper body strength I was talking about. Had the power in his shoulders and arms to power up, get an angle, to get his legs strong enough to kick out of that. That's where his upper body strength comes in. That's why Brian's working on his legs, working on his weak point.
Rude trying to hook around the head now and see if he can't get some extra leverage, and it is Blair retaliating. Blair tying him up very nicely.
Well, right there, it seems like Rick Rude probably knows what a pretzel feels like. He's well tied up. Brian Blair is still working on those legs. Well, here comes Rick Rude out. Looks like he raked the eyes of Brian Blair. He's able to come out of that. Brian Blair might be in trouble. When you can't see what you're doing, you're in a lot of trouble. There's Rick Rude. His legs are still giving him a lot of trouble. This is going to be a good opportunity for Brian to come out. Rick Rude's legs don't seem to want to hold him up.
And it is Brian Blair beginning to move even more effectively now to an inside cradle once again on the Southern Champion. A count of two, and Rude breaks away. And again, we're going to have to leave you for just about... No, sir, wait a minute. Let him bulldog, but he does get away. And it's Rude trying to make it to those ring ropes. We'll be back in just about 120 seconds. We'll be back in just 2 minutes. And still, neither man able to eliminate the other, and so the Southern title is still on the line. Ravishing Rick Rude defending that title against the challenge of Brian Blair, who's got an inside step over right now. And interestingly enough, going for the other leg. He's getting some additional help there from Pringle, and Blair broke his hold. There's that diversionary tactic by Percy Pringle, who's in a heated debate right now with referee Bill Alfonso.
I think that was a good call by the official right there. Technically, the official could have disqualified Mr. Pringle for outside interference, but he did not get in the ring. He did not strike one of the wrestlers. A lot of times, some of their matches have ended from things like that. I think the referee did the right thing by not disqualifying Rick Rude, because if he would have, Rude, of course, would have saved his title again.
Got him coming off the ropes, and Rude in a lot of trouble now. That left-legged player has been staggered.
Rude giving it his best shot now to try to take control. Nursing that bad leg, trying to keep his weight off of it, doing what he can do to keep Brian hurt, to keep him stunned, and to keep him away from his leg.
Starting to take those shortcuts now. So Mr. Blair, who likes to wrestle by the rules, but I'll tell you what, Rude, if he doesn't know it by now, is liable to find out. You want to Pier 6 it. Don't let the gentlemanly actions of Brian Blair fool you.
So I'll tell you, Brian Blair can't Pier 6 it as well as anybody in this profession. Right now, Rick Rude has control of the match, and he's going to have to stay right on top of Mr. B, Brian Blair. If Mr. B comes back a little bit, of course, I'm sure he will go right back for those legs of Rick Rude, which has been his weak part during his match. Big, hard, full body slam, power slam. Mr. B is in a lot of trouble now. You see him there. He's gasping for air. Rick Rude will stay right there on top, not give him an inch of breathing space. Swing is for the reverse chin lock. Just cutting off that air supply, making him breathe harder.
Of course, Rude's using a little different approach to get his man stopped. The forearms to the back of the skull, which stuns you, sends cold chills all through your body. You gradually lose your sense of direction. Stunning his man with those massive forearms like that. The power slam to also knock the wind out of him. Now he's trying to take control with a hope.
Interesting point here, too, though. Stamina is certainly beginning to prove itself a factor in this match. And it is Mr. B, Brian Blair, in trouble on the mat now as Ravishing Rick Rude attempts to really push his advantage in this situation. Rude got some extra leverage momentarily, and you saw Pringle, again, a diversionary tactic with the referee. Rude is beginning to take every shortcut possible to try and control this match. And, of course, now, as this match wears on, Mike, time becomes the friend of Rick Rude because it's a one-fall 30-minute time limit match.
You're exactly right. Rude does not have to beat Brian Blair. Rude has just got to keep him under control. Brian has got to be aggressive. He's got to come out of there. He's got to start trying to beat his man.
And it's Blair hurtled from the ring. Blair hurtled from the ring.
That was a good move on the part of Rick Rude. This gives him a little more time for the blood to recirculate through his leg, to recover a little bit from that injury. Plus, this is a hard concrete floor out here that Mr. B, Brian Blair, was hurtled out onto. There's absolutely no give to that floor, and it has momentarily stunned Brian Blair. Brian Blair could be in for a lot of trouble right now.
I can tell you, and Buddy can too from experience, that concrete floor is real hard when you're on a dead run and all of a sudden you're hitting it. That's why I'm saying Rude is going for the stun effect, the stun tactic. Every move he does is very jarring, knocking the wind out of Brian Blair. He's figuring that's the only way he's going to tire Brian. And again, going in for the chin and neck like he is, you can't breathe well through your nose when you're tired like this. Keeping control of his head, trying to wear Brian down as quick as he can. Really, at this point, just trying to keep control. That's all Rude has to do to keep his title, is just stay in control.
And that's exactly what he's trying to do at this point in time. And it is Ravishing Rick Rude beginning to take those shortcuts. And I do believe we're going to have to cut away again. But again, as I say, if a pinfall or a submission hold occurs while we're away, we'll bring it to you on instant replay. We'll be right back with this Southern Heavyweight Championship match. And thus far, still no pinfall nor submission hold has occurred. Ravishing Rick Rude in the advantage position right now over Mr. B, Brian Blair, the Southern Championship on the line. And we are rapidly approaching that 30-minute mark.
I'll tell you, Rick Rude showing his championship quality after as long as his leg was punished, the pain he was in, to come back and control Brian Blair like he has. That shows the his determination to keep that title. Brian, he better get going. The time is running down, and like I say, Rude does not have to beat Blair. If he just is a draw, he keeps his title. Blair has got to come to life. He's got to get out of there and get his win and get after Rude because time is coming close.
There's no question about it. And there you see Percy Pringle hurling instructions now at Ravishing Rick Rude. And it is Rude still maintaining a dominant position here against Mr. B. Brian Blair. An outstanding match thus far. No question about it. But time is becoming more and more an ally of Ravishing Rick Rude.
Right now, of course, everything is in favor of Rick Rude and his manager, Percival Pringle. Rick Rude has taken advantage of those big, powerful arms he has. There's not many people around that have stronger arms than Rick Rude. And right there, he's just slowing down the blood flow to the brain on Brian Blair, slowing down the breathing. And Rick Rude, I feel, can hang on there for the next 3 or 4 minutes and retain that Southern Heavyweight title. Everything is really going for Rick Rude now. There's Percival Pringle there just looking very intently, knowing full well that the time is on his side.
And it is...
Looks like Brian trying to make his move. At least he's back up to his feet. He's not having to carry the man's weight. Brian making his move, trying to come out of elbow to the stomach to get him jarred loose.
Blair up and over. Henderson coming off the ropes. Delivers a boot. And that's got Ravishing Rick Rude.
Brian's going to have to go. If he's ever going to do it, he's got to do it now. He doesn't have enough time. He's got to go. He's got to do it if he's going to do it.
Blair delivering a solid series of solid blows to the midsection. Blair in behind his man brings him up on a atomic knee drop. It's got Rude jamming that vertebrae once again in. Rude is staggered. Rude is in a lot of trouble now. Blair really beginning to pour on the afterburner. And it is Rude again caught as Blair drives the knee into that prefrontal lobe of Rude, and Rude misses with the right hand. Blair connects with the right hand. Rude is staggered.
Blair realizing the shortness of the time. Oh, gosh. He had it going. He had him coming. Oh.
Referee knocked to one side.
He got him in the sleeper.
Pringle! Wait a minute. Pringle got Rude. Pringle got Rude, and Brian Blair got Pringle, and Blair
Could be it.
lateral cramp.
He could have done it.
New champion. We've got a new champion. Mr. B. Brian Blair.
He did it. Gordon has done it. He defeated Rick Rude for the Southern Heavyweight title right on television.
Mr. B. Brian Blair. And brother, here it is. The Southern Heavyweight Championship, and Brian Blair in tremendous pain. Brian, congratulations, my friend. Brian Blair is trying to get it all together, and understandably so. Ravishing Rick Rude, who was caught by the cane of Percy Pringle. I don't think he knows what time of day it is. He knocked him right into the next area code, and Rude's still trying to get it together. Let me see if I can't get a word now with the new Southern Heavyweight Champion, Brian Blair.
Gordon, I'm tired right now. I don't know what to say. I just knew Percy was going to do something, and I had my eye on him the whole time because that's the only way he's kept this belt. And I knew if he was going to beat me today, it was going to be with Percy. So I just had to kind of fight fire with fire, and I had to be alert. I've been talking to Mike and some other people that have helped me. And all I can say is thank you, Gordon. Thanks for all the people that supported me. Now I got to defend this belt.
Fair enough. Mr. B, Brian Blair, the new Southern Heavyweight Champion. If there's anybody who could be more disappointed than Ravishing Rick Rude right now, it has to be this man in the ring, Percy Pringle. We'll be back. Let's take a moment now to talk about wrestling tonight in Lakeland at the Lakeland Civic Center. Match time is 8:30, and there will be a Texas Tornado match. Blackjack Mulligan and Mike Graham facing the fabulous Freebirds, and a host of all of your favorites will be on hand. Tomorrow night, championship wrestling will be held here in Orlando at the Eddie Graham Sports Stadium. Next Friday night, NWA Wrestling returns to Gainesville, Florida, the home of the Fighting Gators, the SEC champions, and it will be held at the Gainesville High School Gymnasium. Next Friday night, the 19th, match time is 8 p.m. Tomorrow night, here in Orlando at the Eddie Graham Sports Stadium, in a steel cage match, it will be Mike Graham against Terry Bam Bam Gordy. In a $10,000 bounty match, Wahoo McDaniel faces Abdullah the Butcher. In a rematch for the Southern Heavyweight Championship, Mr. B, Brian Blair, faces Ravishing Rick Rude. It'll be Bugsy McGraw against the Missing Link. Hector Guerrero takes on Buddy Roberts. Jack Hart goes up against Jesse Barr. Dale Veazey takes on Mike Golden. With me right now is Wahoo McDaniel. A $10,000 bounty on your head, sir.
Gordon, you know, in some ways that's a compliment. The world's champion has to go out and put a $10,000 bounty up to get somebody to do a job that he can't do. And he's supposed to represent the best there is in the NWA wrestling. Well, Flair, I got a surprise for you. You're a rich man. Well, I'm going to do you a big favor. I'm going to make sure that you don't have to spend that $10,000 because I'm not going to get in any position where that Abdullah the Butcher, 450 pounds, can get me in any position where he can hurt me or put me out of wrestling. Now, sure, I'm worried. I'm not going to say I'm not, and I'd be crazy to say that I wasn't a little worried because the man, everyone knows he doesn't know a lot of wrestling. He just tries to go out, maim, cripple, and hurt people. Well, he's going to have to come into my backyard. He's going to have to come where I am, and he's going to have to come into my corner and put his hands on me.
Thank you so very much. Wahoo McDaniels, you're going to see him in action tomorrow night in Orlando at the Eddie Graham Sports Stadium. Well, in a moment, we're going to be hearing from Percy Pringle regarding the matches tomorrow night, and we'll be hearing some comments from the fabulous Freebirds.
You know, everyone around here knows what type of manager Percy Pringle is. Everybody around here knows what type of man Percy Pringle is. You wrestling fans there have seen me many times sitting in the ringside, never interfering, shouting words of encouragement to my men. And then Brian Blair runs around here running his mouth. I admit it. I made a mistake, Blair. The reason that you have the belt today is because of me. You better watch your back. I'm going to be in Orlando. Rick Rude's going to be in Orlando. And I don't want anything to happen to the relationship between me and Ricky Rude. And I'm going to do everything I can to keep us together. Bugsy McGraw, I'm tired of seeing your ugly face across the ring. I'm tired of seeing all that hair. We're going to get rid of you. This man right here, the Missing Link, the greatest wrestler in the world today, will get rid of you once and for all if my name ain't Percy Pringle III.
All right, there you have it. The Freebirds declined comment at this particular time, and I think I can understand why, because it's going to be Terry Bam Bam Gordy going into a steel cage match against Mike Graham tomorrow night in Orlando. Tonight in Lakeland at the Lakeland Civic Center, it will be the Freebirds against Blackjack Mulligan and Mike Graham in a Texas Tornado match with all four men in the ring at the same time, and I can see why perhaps they're not too anxious to talk.
You know, Gordon, that's exactly right. For once, they're showing their true color. For once, you know, these men have been here. They've been running around shooting their mouth off, saying how tough they are. Yeah, they, as a group, against one man, they're pretty tough. But like my dad used to say a long time, the whistle doesn't make the locomotive run. And they can get on TV and scream and yell and do what they want. But I'm proving to the people in Florida that in a one-on-one basis, they're not as tough as they appear to be, because so far I've beaten Michael Hayes and Bam Bam Gordy, wherever you got that name Bam Bam, maybe from watching the Flintstones, which is about your IQ. I'm going to take you out next. Your height doesn't mean anything to me, because when you're laying in the middle of the ring, flat on your back, we're all about the same size. And when I put that figure 4 on you and break your legs and watch you crawl back to the dressing room, you're going to be right where I want you. So you bring yourself and your birds to Orlando, because I'm going to put you in a real tight bird cage. And my main man, Mulligan's going to be there to watch my back. So you just show up. 55 pounds. Here's Chief Wahoo McDaniel. One fall with a 10-minute time limit.
Wahoo McDaniel moving out against Dale Veazey. One fall, 10-minute time limit, and there's a celebration going on right now. I'm going to see if I can get Mike Graham back out here a little bit later on, but he went back with Mr. B, Brian Blair, very jubilant. a very tired Brian Blair, but he is the new Southern Heavyweight Champion. And if you just tuned in and missed it, you missed one of the greatest Southern title matches I've seen in a long, long time.
Well, there's a nice hip-lock takedown on the part of Chief Wahoo McDaniel. Chief Wahoo McDaniel is not only a tough and rugged individual, this man can wrestle. He can move. Watch him on his feet. He's very agile, has a lot of quick moves, good wrestling maneuvers and holds. Dale Vesey, looking at his muscular development, so this man trains hard, works out hard every day. Nice single leg pickup on the part of Chief Wahoo McDaniel. Coming down with a knee on that upper muscle there. And he has a pretty good control. Looks like he might be going for a half Boston Crab if he can just get that right leg over the back of Dale Vesey. Well, he's just holding him there in that single leg. Well, Dale Vesey, of course, looks like he's taking the easy way out, going to the ropes, which, of course, causes an automatic break.
Exactly. Wahoo McDaniel, of course, facing the bounty hunter Abdullah the Butcher, who will be here next week, and we'll be seeing him here on television. Might point out that, of course, on the tour of the champion, NWA World Heavyweight Champion Ric Flair will be in Fort Myers on Monday, May 6th, at the Sunshine in Tampa on the 7th, the Convention Center in Miami on the 8th, Jacksonville Baseball Park on the 9th, and on the 10th in Orlando. And he is facing the challenge of such men as Kerry Von Erich, Wahoo McDaniel, and Mike Graham. And I just have a hunch at the end of that week that either Kerry Von Erich, Mike Graham, or Wahoo McDaniel is going to be the new champion. I don't know how Ric Flair can withstand that kind of pressure.
Well, Kerry Von Erich at one time did defeat Ric Flair, so Kerry Von Erich is a former world champion. He is out to try and regain that title for the second time. And I might add, too, that in the event that Ric Flair loses that title the first night of his tour, the new champion will, of course, take on all contracts and all commitments as world champion.
Precisely right. That is the most stunning thing in the world is to win the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, because your entire life changes in that 3 count. From that 3 count, you then have to fulfill all of the commitments from the former champion. And so either Mike Graham, Wahoo McDaniel, or Kerry Von Erich are going to be busy men indeed, if indeed they are able to get past Ric Flair. Tickets for that in your communities will go on sale April 22nd for the May Championship. Meanwhile, Wahoo McDaniel, a good chop to the back of the head of Dale Vesey. Seth Vesey brings him up high. Vertical suplex comes right down with him. And Vesey beginning to look somewhat the worse for wear as this great athlete, Wahoo McDaniel, continues to punish his man.
Okay, I believe everybody in Florida knows about Wahoo McDaniel's great career with the Miami Dolphins as middle linebacker. During that time, the Miami Dolphins were the world football champion. And with Wahoo McDaniel made quite a name for himself during the many years that he played professional football, and for the years since he has been professional wrestling, he has also made a name for himself. This man is just a great all-around athlete. He is quite adept at every sport. There's a big left hook right to the center of the stomach on Dale Vesey. Going behind, looks like he's going up for a atomic knee drop, and he is. Oh, this can shatter the vertebrae in your spine. This takes a lot out of you. Looks like Wahoo McDaniel, big chop, and this could be it.
Catches him once again with another chop, and it is indeed all she wrote for Dale Vesey. Wahoo McDaniel, the man who's got a bounty on his head set by Ric Flair, is the victor. We do each week here on Championship Wrestling 85. We'd like to bring you another Missing Children's Bulletin. This week's Missing Children's Bulletin concerns a brother and a sister. This is Steve Burrell. He is a 6-year-old. He is 3 feet 10, weighs 50 pounds. He was last seen in Brooklyn, New York. He was in the custody of his sister, Renee Patricia Burrell, and their non-custodial father, Freddie Burrell. They may be in Pensacola or Crestview, Florida, Slidell, Louisiana, or New Orleans, Louisiana. They could be in a Ford van with a New York license plate number 7607AJY. Again, this is Renee Patricia Burrell. She and her brother Steve are missing, and they are believed to be in the care of their non-custodial father, Freddie Burrell. Anyone having any information on the Burrell children, please contact in Florida 1-800-342-0821. Outside of Florida 904-488-5221. Your cooperation would be greatly appreciated.
This match is one fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing from Old Homosassa at 230 pounds, here's Mike Allen. And Percival Pringle III presents The Missing Link. One fall, 10-minute time limit.
All right, one fall, 10-minute time limit. Mike Allen moving out against The Missing Link. And the Link wasting no time in unleashing an attack on Mike Allen. Smashing Allen into the turnbuckle. Allen, a solid competitor, but does not have the experience, and obviously does not have the experience of going up against an almost, well, could you say subhuman, such as the Missing Link.
Well, I'll tell you, Missing Link is a good name for this individual. He's got more than just one link missing. But I'll tell you, Mike Allen is just completely helpless against this man. Look at the size and mass of the muscular development on him. There is virtually not an ounce of body fat on the Missing Link. Has complete control and dominance over Mike Allen. This time, it looks like Percival Pringle standing ringside, just has that big leer on his face. A full body slam, power slam coming down very easily, going for the pin.
Just absolutely devastated Mike Allen, the Missing Link. Sort of a kind of a Boeotian personality, really, but or less, I might add. And frankly, a rather awesome individual. I want to ask Percy Pringle, first of all, let's talk about that Southern Heavyweight
No, let's don't talk about the Southern Heavyweight Championship. Let's talk about the Missing Link, the greatest professional wrestler in the world today in the Pringle dynasty. That's who we'll talk about, Mr. Soley. That's who we'll talk about.
All right, fine. Let me ask you this then. What sort of a training regimen do you keep this man on to keep him in, obviously, this phenomenal physical...
Why does everybody want to know what about the Missing Link? Why they want to know everything about him, how he trains, how everything? Of course he does the usual things, Gordon, the usual athletic things. You want to see, do you really want to see how he trains?
Yeah.
Okay, hold this for just a moment. I'll be right back, and I'm going to show you how he's going to train.
Well, this is the one that cost him the Southern title, and let's just...
Well, look, it looks like Percival Pringle just went over into the audience, and he's coming back with a chair.
This is what you call training.
What is this now?
That's a training method?
This is training, Solely. This is what you call training.
Oh, that chair is... Good grief.
That
chair is breaking right through the center.
What else do you want to know?
Well,
that is the way we train. Blood, guts,
he's going right straight through that chair, and
blood is pouring down his face now.
I think that's quite enough. Yes, Mr. Pringle, if you'll kindly remove him from the area. Yeah. You were trying to impress me. You did. No on certain terms.
If that's a training method, I've never seen anything like that.
We'll be back. We'll be back in just a
That man's crazy.
Championship Wrestling will be held tonight in Lakeland at the Lakeland Civic Center. Match time is 8:30 p.m. In a Texas Tornado match, it will be Mike Graham and Big Blackjack Mulligan against the Fabulous Freebirds. There will be a host of other great matches tonight. And tomorrow night, here in Orlando at the Eddie Graham Sports Stadium, NWA Wrestling will be held beginning promptly at 8 p.m. Next Friday night, April 19th, Championship Wrestling will be held in Gainesville at the Gainesville High School Gymnasium. Now then, tomorrow night in Orlando at the Eddie Graham Sports Stadium, in a steel cage match, it'll be Mike Graham against Terry Bam Bam Gordy. In a $10,000 bounty match, Wahoo McDaniel faces Abdullah the Butcher. The Southern Championship on the line, Brian Blair against Rick Rude. Bugsy McGraw takes on the Missing Link. Hector Guerrero goes up against Buddy Roberts. Jack Hart takes on Jesse Barr. It'll be Dale Vesey against Mike Golden. Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, Eddie Graham Sports Stadium. Let me join up right now with Mike Graham and Blackjack Mulligan, two gentlemen who have to be extremely pleased about the great Southern Championship match we had just a little bit ago.
I tell you, without a doubt, it was an exciting match. Brian Blair is coming. A world championship is going to come his way. But I understand that there's a movement around town here, and the rumor's been put out by the Freebirds that Michael Graham and Jack Mulligan had better be leaving town. Now, I understand you got a VCR, Gordon. I want to understand that's a prime example of what's going to happen. I've told everybody I'm going to be watching every movie he makes. I'm going to be watching his back. And whenever you're ready to take a look at that, I'll tell you.
All right, Mike, you were into a steel cage match against the Freebird Michael Hayes, the leader of the Bad Street Group, if you will.
Well, you know, that's right. I figured that was the only way to get them singled out because there was always 2-on-1, 3-on-1. I knew Jack would be there watching my back, but even with 3 men as aggressive as they are, sometimes 3-on-2 is difficult. So I figured that cage would make the difference.
All right, let's take a look at what happened in that steel cage match. The Freebird Michael Hayes moving out against Mike Graham, and there's no way that anybody can get in the match inside that steel cage to interfere. And Mike, things are going your way.
Well, right now, I tell you, he kicked me in the face, and I had a horrible headache, and I was a little dazed, but I'm doing everything I can do to try to keep him in line, put the sleeper on him, wear him down. He's a big man, he's a strong man, and you just don't attack him head on. You try to get his weak points and control him or take advantage of him any way you can. Of course, him using that cage to his advantage right here, and I'll tell you, my face shows the bearing of the way that fence was.
This, of course, is another thing that many people don't realize, is that steel cage can become an extremely dangerous weapon in the wrong hands.
Well, of course, when they galvanize that cage and you pull it up, there's little sharp spurs, and it's like almost like a barbed wire fence in places. It can be very dangerous and deadly.
Well, of course, both men boarding the other in attempts at the figure four. And once again, Michael Hayes trying to set up for that figure four. Mike Graham breaks it very nicely. And Mike, at this point, the rule book went out the window.
Well, I'll tell you what, there was never any doubt in our mind, Gordon, that one-on-one Michael could take any one of them. You got Hayes in a little bit of trouble there, but you always got Gordon, you always got Roberts lurking in the backdrop, in the background somewhere. And the way I see it right now, Michael's fixing to take this match. Everybody get close and watch what is fixing to happen because the inevitable is coming up.
You know, right here, I was starting to catch my second wind. He's trying to get out of the cage. That's what the cage is there for. And a lot of times when he doesn't have his buddies to back him up, he'd try to get out of the ring and run. I had one match one time when he just left the ring and refused to come back. And that's what that cage is there for, not only to keep people out, but to keep them in the ring.
Gordon, it looks to me like Michael Hayes had just about enough, and he's trying to get out of the building, just get out of town, anything he possibly can. And at this point, I think Michael's in control.
That they're going for a bulldog, trying to go for a bulldog, not having a good grip on me. Of course, my head being all wet and sweaty could have helped, but I got my hands on his hips and pushed him off on his back.
Driving the knee into the chest area of Michael Hayes and the man from Bad Street, USA, having his problems coming up. And Mike, I think here's where stamina and conditioning is also beginning to show, because you appear to be certainly the fresher of the two.
Well, in a match like this, it's not so much how long ago, but you take a lot
There it is, right there.
The figure four. As far as I was concerned, at this point, the match was over.
You can see it right now, Gordon. Everybody watch real close because everybody knows when Michael locks that thing in, it's all over. But Hayes takes a shortcut again.
Right there, throwing the referee down on top of me like that, it hit right on top of my foot, twisted my ankle over sideways, and that hold, as we know, if it is reversed, can be very painful for the man that's applying it. And it kind of threw me a little off guard right there.
All right, Mike Graham smashed into the steel cage once again, and Michael Hayes, the man from Bad Street, USA, quickly, being an opportunist that he is, quickly taking advantage of this opportunity. And Mike, you ducked away from this one and realized that you had to catch you through right there.
The referee, of course, being stunned after falling on top of me. If he'd have been alert and right on the ball, the match would have been over right there. That's twice now that I've had the man beat, and he didn't win.
Well, Michael Hayes has got a question, Gordon, and Mike is about to know the cage match. He's using that cage to his advantage, and the idea is to win, not to lose.
Sure, that's exactly right.
I might point out,
now take a look at this right here. Here's Gordy. Here's the other Freebirds right here. Gordon, they're in the ring. And watch this.
Jack,
the old walk and talk stick,
I'm
Michael.
glad you came down there, because I tell you, those three guys on top of me, there's no telling what could have happened. If you hadn't come down and done what you did, I might not have been here this afternoon talking on TV.
Well, Gordon, I'm going to tell you something right now. Excuse me just for a minute. I want all the free birds, I wish they were here right now, if in the dressing room, if they're lurking in the parking lots, to take a listen, because I will guarantee you it is all coming down in Lakeland. Now, all you good folks out there, not the faint-hearted or somebody that's got some kind of thrombosis, don't sit in the front row. Don't wait in the parking lots, because the first time that we see the free birds, that's where it's going to start. I'm going to have the big walking tall stick with me. The one about 7 foot tall, weighs about 75 pounds. It may be bigger. So everybody get the pickup trucks, go have a little tailgate party out there in the parking lot in Lakeland, and I will guarantee the free bird some little excitement like you have never had in your life before. All I want you to do, they have to show up. They're going to be there. Texas tornado rules. Everybody gather, everybody from miles around Pinellas County, Hillsborough, Polk County, and you better show up and be there, because I will personally guarantee you've never seen anything like it. It's going to be a tail whooping, personified like you've never seen before. Michael, all I'm going to do is back you up, brother, and bust a few noses, a few eyeballs. That's all that's going to happen right there.
Tonight in Lakeland is going to be the end of the free birds in the state of Florida, as far as we're concerned.
Well, Mike, of course, I realize, too, that you have your sights set on other things. The free birds, obviously, are a real thorn in your side, and hopefully tonight that will end at the Lakeland Civic Center. And then, of course, your sights are set on that World Heavyweight Championship with Ric Flair.
Well, the free birds are a stepping stone. That's what's important in my heart right now. We've got to get rid of the free birds. We've got to get my mind straight to continue. And with these back-jumping cowards that they are, I know Blackjack and I are going to be able to take
That's exactly what I'm
and
doing
then I can
here.
go after Ric Flair.
Michael can concentrate on the World Championship. Just promise me one thing, that I have about 15 seconds with that big Terry Gordy, myself, who is in the parking lot outside the ring. Just let me have him, Michael.
Don't worry, I'll take care of the other one. You can have that Terry Gordy.
Lakeland's a place, Gordon, I'll tell you right now.
Thank you so very much, Mike Graham and Blackjack Mulligan. And right now, speaking on behalf of Buddy Cope, this will be Gordon Soley saying, boy, I'll tell you, the action is just now beginning. And if you think you've seen a little bit this week, wait till next week. Abdullah the Butcher's on his way. Till then, so long.
What you call training?
Oh, that chair is good grief. Stop.